And I don't even watch Bleach. I mean, I don't know anything about Bleach really, but I just saw like some panels of like Ichigo just get effed up, man. He had like a gaping hole in his
Man, that always
abdomen and his
happens.
arm.
Every time that dude fights, somebody punches a hole in him.
Okay, so even though I don't watch Bleach, I looked up like I watched a YouTube video and reasons why Bleach kind of fell off, and like one of the main things I saw were like the arches, the story arcs. I mean, they kind of like became like the same thing. I heard
Pretty
like
much.
in terms of like other anime like One Piece or Hunter x Hunter or maybe Naruto. The arcs. They change like a lot. What you can see the characters, in different situations. But in terms of Bleach, I heard like the arcs were pretty much the same, and like the main or Ichigo, he was just reacting to things instead of having his own agenda. Like Luffy, Luffy always has something to do. He always doing something.
Yeah, I would say Ichigo didn't have very good character development, and some Bleach fans are probably gonna give us
I
flack.
heard he was more like a kind of like a Yusuke type thing, but then he just became more of a protector. He just wanted to protect his friends.
I don't
Yeah.
think he was ever like Yusuke. Yusuke is a lot
No,
more
yeah.
interesting than him.
Yusuke was a punk, you know. So at least he had that going. Ichigo had very little development. Like he never really wanted anything. He just sort of went around and he was there.
Hmm.
Things happened to him. He didn't do things.
Yeah, yes,
Yeah.
yes, yeah. And another thing, in terms of visually, like in the manga, I heard like, when it first started out, the manga looked really good. That was one of like the big highlights of Bleach, like the style of the characters, and
What?
how, huh?
Oh no, I was gonna say that's actually the opposite. The art style got a lot better as it
I
went
know what
on.
Oh,
video.
really?
Yeah.
I know what
Really?
video you're talking about, Cal. The guy said, like the backgrounds were more detailed or something. Like the layout of the
Yeah,
and the panels was better.
Oh, the layout of
yeah,
the panels. I could
yeah.
see that, but as far as like the character art itself, he advanced
Hmm.
a lot. Like his art,
Okay.
he's like Kubo has like he's probably has one of the best, one of my favorite art styles.
Hmm.
He just
Hmm.
sucks at writing.
Hmm.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're gonna watch Bleach, watch it up. Just watch the first portion of it, and then quit
Hmm.
because
I probably want.
it was only good
Well,
when Ichigo wanted to save Rukia because that was when he
Hmm.
actually had to do something.
the
Hmm.
stuff with Aizen wasn't that bad. I
Yeah,
think
but
that's where. I mean, well, yeah, I agree. It peaked at Soul Society, but I think the stuff with Aizen was passable.
but he had no reason to want to fight Aizen really, if you think about it. Well, besides the fact he kidnapped Orihime, but that's about it.
Yeah.
Before that, though, before he actually kidnapped her, there was no reason for him to actually fight. Rukia, she was going to get executed, so he was going to save her life.
He was always saving somebody. That's all he ever did. But
But
even
wasn't he
that,
gonna?
no,
Wasn't
what's up?
Aizen gonna? Aizen was gonna like use a. There's a big soul under Karakura town or something, right? And Aizen was gonna like take it and destroy the town.
I don't even remember.
Nah, he was. I don't exactly remember what he was doing to Karakura Town. His goal was the same. He pretty much had the same goal as the final arc's goal: get to Soul Palace and
Killed the Soul King.
yeah, and take over. But so basically the last arc was Aizen's goal, but taken a step further by someone who was, I guess, stronger, possibly.
Hmm. Okay.
But yeah, I think the biggest thing you could credit the fall of Bleach to is just the writing. Like Kubo just fell off. Like after they beat Aizen, that whole next arc was it didn't feel. It felt like Bleach was over, but
Hmm.
it was still going on. Like Ichigo
Yeah.
didn't have any powers, and he was just working a job, and he didn't
Hmm.
was doing stuff, and then he was crying,
Hmm.
and then it
One
just
thing.
kept going.
Yeah, one thing I've heard too from the video I watched was like the editors, like they had a lot of play in the story writing too. For example, like Dragon Ball Z, like the androids were going to be like the final big boss. There was no. It was only 19 and dang it, what's the other guy?
20.
The Juro and 19.
Juro.
That's all it was. But
Yeah.
then the editor came in and he said, no, it's only going to be a fat dude and an old dude. So Toriyama drew 17 and 18. And then he was like, then the editor came in and he was like, what? It's going to be a bunch of brats? So then Toriyama got Cell. So, the editors, they have a lot of play in the storyline too,
I mean, but that's
And
true for all manga and Shonen Jump at least.
Yeah.
With the
And I've
exception
heard,
of like One Piece.
uh-huh. Hmm.
But
But
then
yeah, I heard that had a lot of play in Bleach too, so.
Well, I bet they're disappointed now.
yeah, they probably should.
The ending was horrible, man. Like it was really bad.
Ichigo fought the dude for like 3 chapters.
Yeah, like the final fight was nothing, and plus Ichigo had like 5 people helping him the whole time. But Ichigo basically won with a backstab. Like they had like
I
Django
hate
fed
when that
him.
happens.
yeah,
Django
like
fed him.
yeah, like they basically it was like They-
Django Fett.
they set up an illusion so that
Hey,
Ichigo would,
motherfucker!
yeah, they
Huh?
set so I'm spoiler alert for everybody, spoiler alert. They set up an illusion and Ichigo was hiding and like the bad guy fell for the illusion and Ichigo just comes up behind him and stabs him.
Yo, Boba! Huh?
That's how he won. And it
We got you
wasn't
now.
and it wasn't even Ichigo that did the final blow. It was what's his name? Ishida. He shot the arrow that killed the guy.
No, yeah. They had him, and he was, Aizen was there, and he did his trickery. So he stabbed him. He was like, "Ha I got you, Ichigo." He was like, "Oh, here, bitch!" And then he turned around. Wait, what? And then he stabbed him. And he was like, "Oh!" So he started to heal. He was like, "Well, I think I'll be all right." And then it turns out Uryu was on the hill, like behind him. And he was like, it was like the ending of an Arnold Schwarzenegger movie. He was like, "You just got Quincy."
Yeah, he got double backstabbed basically. First he got stabbed in the back, then he got shot in the back from like a mountaintop.
I'll be the
Dang.
same.
So they couldn't fight the guy straight up. But I guess whatever, you know.
And then that like he had the power to like change like the future or whatever. So then like his power, he like went through time, and then he died in like the future too. It was just weird.
Wow, man, that kind of sucks though. I mean, you had no choice but to end it abruptly somehow. I would have left it on the cliffhanger myself. I wouldn't have like just killed him off like that.
I
This was
mean,
out for
he
15
could have
years,
done
man.
better. Like, he had enough time to give this guy good development, but he just didn't develop the villain good enough.
I mean, honestly, he had bad time management. Like he knew it was ending. He told us it was ending like 3 years ago. He was like, "This is the last arc," and then he had just whole like arcs of the like whole sections of the story in this last arc that could have been completely cut out. They spent 5 chapters on Mayuri Koritsuchi fighting a hand. That was 5 weeks. That's a month and some change of a different captain fighting a hand who's not even one of the top dudes. It was like there were literal like months and months devoted to just fights.
Mhm.
Basically ended up being pointless because everybody didn't matter in the end anyway.
Mhm.
Yeah, like the only people that he should have took the time to develop were like Hashwalt, which was the number 2 bad guy. He was like second in command, and the main bad guy. Like he gave the leader of the Quincy's like such a horrible backstory. Like the dude had no motive. Like he
He was a baby and like he had a lot of powers and people like kept like borrowing his powers and then he got stronger and now he's mad.
Mm.
Yeah, like he had no reason at all for what he was doing. He was just doing it.
Or like Jamie Foxx and Electro.
At least in as Jamie Foxx's Electro, we saw everyone was mean to him because he was a nerd, like a creepy stalker nerd.
Yeah, it was still kind of weird villain. But okay, getting back to
This
Bleach
dude
though.
killed all of his own guys in the end. All the fights were pointless. He killed all his own people. They could have just skipped that.
Dang.
The consequences didn't matter one way or the other.
Mm.
So it just Kubo just it is a little sad that they rushed him like they did, but he could have finished it. He had the time.
What if he did like the worst stuff possible? Like, what if he was just pissed off and he just decided like to end the series like the worst way possible? Like people just dying, like Ichigo dies from like a pencil going through his eye, like he tripped and fell or something, and then
He finally did it. Well.
Who put that? And then he tripped because of banana, and then then they do like a whole backstory of like why a certain villain put a banana there. I knew it would happen one day.
Well, he had 15 years of fandom to please, so he couldn't just give everyone a middle finger.
That would have been like the ultimate thing to do, though. That would have been like story. That would have been history right there. That would have been cool. Like that would have been kind of cool too. Like people would kind of respect that as like a rebellion against the editorial staff or something like that.
The editorial staff didn't screw him over though. He screwed himself over.
I don't know, man. I heard they had a lot of influence, man.
Wait,
they did in the end.
You're still talking about Kubo, right?
Bleach.
Yeah, Kubo.
Yeah.
He had a lot of time, man. Like that last arc was just fight after fight, man. There is no character development.
Mm-hmm.
He didn't have to do that. Like he could have tightened it up. Like the editors, they told him he had to end it, but he knew it was ending.
Yeah.
They just got sick of him stalling. Like they got sick of him doing like 2-month-long fights. Like
2-month-long fights.
No, seriously, his fights had like a formula. It would be like the bad guy and the main dude fight each other. And in Bleach chapters especially, he's always been terrible at pacing. Like one thing happens per chapter. Mm-hmm. The rest is just reactions to that. Or build up to that.
Mm-hmm.
But it's always just one thing happens.
Mm-hmm.
So it'd be like somebody fights somebody, then the good guy pulls out their secret power,
mm-hmm.
and then the bad guy pulls out, they look dead at the end of the chapter. Then they get up, the next chapter they pull out their secret power, so the good guy looks dead, so that's the second one.
Mm-hmm.
And the good guy pulls out their other real secret power, they're dead, and the bad guy evolves again, usually turns into some kind of like bird thing. He's really into bird thing this last arc.
Mm.
Then they really beat the good guy, and they're about to kill him, and then somebody comes and saves them and pulls out their secret power. And then that doesn't work. Then they pull out their other secret power, and that usually works.
All right. Okay.
I literally just described like 5 different fights that took 2 months each.
Pretty much.
That's exactly how the fight with Mayuri went. It's how Uraharu's fight went.
Mm-hmm.
How what's his name? Kenpachi's fight went twice. Kenpachi had 2 fights that happened in.
Yeah.
That's what happened with what's the white-haired captain's name?
The white hair?
Hitsugaya.
Oh yeah.
Hitsugaya's fight when he was fighting the Miracle. Like that happened a bunch of times, and all those fights took months.
Mm-hmm.
And then in the end, after all those fights, the main bad guy killed all his own guys anyway.
Dang. Okay.
He knew it was in it. He didn't have to waste time like that.
Maybe he didn't care.
He didn't care. Like
maybe that's it. He just didn't care.
He just wrote his story the way he always does, and then he was surprised when they told him they were tired of waiting.
I think the worst fight was Kyoraku versus Lille Baro, like the black sniper dude.
He turned into a bird.
Yeah, like So Kyoraku, like, first he used his release form. Then Lille Barrow, he does his Voltstein, whatever it's called, his
The
release.
whatever the
Yeah,
whatever the fuck. That's what
the
it's called.
Quincy transformation, basically.
This is my whatever the fuck.
Yeah, and then he does his Bankai,
Oh no, you got me.
and then he turns
Just
into
kidding.
the bird thing, and then what's her name has to finish the fight for him, and then it's a
That
whole
took like 3 chapters.
yeah, like the fight went from him fighting that dude, then to her fighting that dude.
Mm.
And then in the end, he had to help her beat that dude.
Okay.
That
Dang.
dude turned into a bird twice. He turned into a bird. She beat him with her secret magical sword that's literally, okay, her sword's power. It turns out she had a sword the whole time whose only power was that it could cut, like,
Gods.
cut gods.
Yeah, and that guy was
Okay.
basically a god.
And that guy had turned into a god. But it can't cut anything else. That's all it can do. She
Okay.
happened to have a secret sword that is perfect for this situation.
Hmm.
She fought him with that and then like, killed him, and then he turned into a different version of an owl. And then he turned into like 20 owls.
I think I've seen something like that. Like somebody turned to like an owl, or like a moth or something. I don't know.
That was
weird.
during the Eisen fight.
Oh, okay.
I
Okay.
turned into a
But I
butterfly.
don't. This like, and here's the whole another point. Like the Quincy's, their powers, like their powers, like didn't even fit their original descriptions at all. Like
Yo, those powers had no rules at all.
their power, like when they first mentioned the Quincy's in Bleach, they were supposed to be all marksmen. Like
Yeah.
they had bow and arrows. They throw shit and stuff like that.
Yeah. Yeah.
But the one guy, his power was to imagine whatever he want. Whatever he imagined came to life.
There was another guy whose powers were his fingers were really hot.
His fingers was really hot.
No,
No,
but
he
his
just had
fingers
fire
were like
powers,
really
that's
hot.
Okay.
Yeah, he's that fire. What
The more fingers he used, the stronger it was.
Yeah.
So could he use it as projectiles somehow? Or
Yeah, they were
something?
projectiles. This is like fire bullets, basically.
Oh, okay.
Or he could
That's cool.
cut you with the flames, kind of. It's a little weird, but it was cool.
Yeah.
Though. He probably had
And
the
like we
coolest
said-
power.
Okay.
One of the Quincy's was literally a giant hand. It was a giant hand in a hoodie.
In the hoodie.
Yeah.
There was a black guy who was a sniper that turned into an owl.
Uh-huh.
Like,
Okay.
it didn't make any sense. It was like the Wild West. Anything could happen. Like, and like, it's the worst when it's predictable, man. Like, when you start a fight and you're like, wow, like, all right, well, just go ahead and do your thing so this dude can transform into his real secret mode. So that you can do your other thing so he can transform again. Let's just like speed this up. Yoruichi turned into like a lightning cat.
Okay.
I think that
okay.
was just straight up fan service, man.
Oh yeah, she was naked. I forgot about that.
Yeah, that was like straight up fan service.
Remember the Miracle? There was this dude whose powers were if you kill him, he just gets bigger.
So like Power Rangers.
He just kept getting bigger. Like, what does that have to do with shooting bows and arrows made of energy? Like, that's the opposite of that. He had a sword and a shield.
I mean, some of the powers were cool ideas, like, but they still didn't really fit Quincy's. Like, the one guy, he had the power to he had the power to turn anything into the lethal dosage. It's like
Okay.
he could get your blood, and what he would do, he would turn your blood into like a lethal dose. So you,
Uh-huh.
I don't know how to explain it. Dakota might be able to explain it better. But
Yeah. He could change like the amount of something that would be the lethal dose for that. So like,
Yeah.
he would make the blood, the lethal dose. You would have to either drain your blood or your blood would kill you. And then if you
That's
kill
interesting.
you die.
Yeah.
He could do that with anything. So like, oxygen or like, he even did it with people's actual energy. He made their own spiritual energy, like lethal.
Uh-huh. Dang, so if you can do it for oxygen, like what the heck can you do about that?
stop breathing.
Oh, well, you want to know? It's actually funny. Yoruichi had a secret mode that was the perfect counter to this. Her secret mode, it was like, so he would make people's energy lethal to them, she had a mode where for some reason her energy changed every like 2 seconds. And it was perfect for this situation. She just happened to be the one to fight him. But then he beat her anyway, and somebody else came with their secret mode and saved her.
Oh, okay. Okay. All right.
Like literally every other fight in that arc.
Like the only guy's power who was like the only powers that were remotely Quincy were like the main guy, the lead Quincy, because he actually shot stuff, even though he had a sword, but he actually shot stuff. And what's his name? Lille Barrow, which is like this black sniper guy. I think his power was he never misses.
Yeah, but he had a gun.
Yeah, he had a gun.
And then he turned into a bird.
Yeah, he turned into a bird too.
Well, I guess we did a good rant on Bleach today.
Yeah. So
it's like I opened up a bag of worms with this man.
I mean, I didn't mean for it to be a rant. It's just I don't have as much respect for Bleach as I had for Naruto. Like with Naruto, I still respect it. It still has a place. Bleach, it was like he just lost his mind at the end. Like it was like the last 3 years he just blew cocaine every day. I'm gonna blow through this money.
So
doing cocaine, just smoking cocaine while he's doing this, huh?
I want a black guy with no teeth. Name him Nana. No, you can't do that. You tell me what the fuck I can't do. Turn him into a bird.
Turn him into a bird.
Wait, what was his name?
Nana Nojiko.
No, the guy the bird guy, his name is Lille Barrow.
No, but Nana transformed too. What did he turn into?
Nana didn't transform. He just died. He got killed by somebody else.
Right.
Another thing, the bad guys are just kind of killing each other left and right. Like some of them would get mad at another one and just shoot him for no reason. It's just.
It's because there were 100 of them. They were all expendable, and they all died anyway.
And they didn't really like each other, even though they're all like the same race.
I'm not sure they were, man. You remember that one dude he was the luchador, and his powers were he got stronger if you cheered for him?
Oh yeah.
If you cheered for him.
What does that have to do with being a country guy? Where did he even hear about lucha? Like, is he Mexican? Like, I don't understand. How is Uryu the same as this dude?
That's hilarious. Well,